No, tell me it isn't so. PWM flickering, is it an issue on the iPhone 12s? Let's talk about it. Righto, tell you there, champ. Hope you're doing well, and I'm free. Yes, I am free. No longer in lockdown. Now I can go outside. iPhone 12 Pro. I've got them in the house, and I've seen some issues you may just want to know about. Anyway, let's get into it. I want to tell you my thoughts on these iPhones, the differences between the normal 12 and the Pro. There are quite a lot of differences. We just want to know how good they are, the differences, and some of the nitty-gritty stuff, like the nitpicking stuff that I'm going to tell you about. So straight away when I unbox this, the gold looks amazing on the edges in the right light, and that's the salient point here. It has to be clean, and by the way, all the other Pro iPhones, they have a PVD coating. The one on the gold one is different. It's supposed to be more durable, and it's supposed to be less fingerprint prone. The thing is, you can still see fingerprints. As soon as you touch it, you're just going to tarnish that nice, beautiful gold finish, and that's the thing that's great about the gold one, right? Is that gold finish. Also notice the Pro is a lot heavier. It feels more premium just because it feels heavier. It's heftier. The metal's harder. It just feels more premium. The white one looks, well, I like my white stuff, but it's pretty plain Jane actually. It does feel light. It feels softer in the hands. The metal feels softer. You can feel that straight away. If you have a look here, you can see the sizes of all the iPhones. So Kaspersky sent me out these cases. There's multiple cases here, but this shows you the differences in the size. What I like about these Kaspersky cases is some of them actually come with tempered glass. I'll leave a link in the description where you can get that. So you get the tempered glass and the case. They're pretty cool cases. Now, one thing about the iPhone 12 and 12 Pro, they're not big enough. They are too small. I have no idea why it is not an iPhone 12. Yes, a normal iPhone 12 that is a big size. So like an iPhone 12 Plus size. If you want the big size, you have to go to the Pro Max. So if you're used to a big display, and the market has gone to big displays because people want big displays. These 6.1 inch iPhones will be perfect for a lot of people, but a big phone person, nah. No way, they're too small. These ones are literally exactly the same, apart from the panels. You'll see later there is a difference in the panels, 100%. One's Samsung on the Pro, and I believe the other one's like a Chinese OLED. You can't tell the difference if you just look quickly, but you got 800 nits versus 600 nits. We're not talking peak brightness here, we're just talking the maximum sort of brightness they can get to. You can tell that later, I'll show you. So for me, the iPhones are probably going to be the best phones on the market, but not everything's perfect. Face ID, forget about it. It's useless in a COVID world, and actually a pre-COVID world, it was useless. I mean, you constantly had to bow to it, had your face in the right position. If you've ever been to Asia, face masks were a thing before COVID, and I suspect face masks are going to be a thing after COVID. Also, there are a lot of women that wear face coverings, scarves, etc. I actually don't know how this passed the sniff test, and actually Apple released a phone that a lot of people can't use, and basically all I use is the PIN code now. So the thing about the gold one is the Pro, it looks beautiful in the right light. You're going to have to constantly polish that edge if you want it to look shiny and nice and gold, like expensive jewelry. But when you catch it in the right light, it does look expensive, like it really does, like high-end jewelry. My son loves gold stuff, and when he heard I had a gold phone, he's like, gold phone? He's like, that's not gold, because the back doesn't look gold. In a certain light it does, but most of the time it just sort of looks like an off silver. It sort of looks like a gold tinged silver. Honestly, if you're a gold fan, I don't know whether they will satisfy you. And even the aluminium white one, it's nice, clean, minimalist, but it doesn't look expensive like the Pro. So yeah, it does look like a little bit of a step down there. Maybe the other colours are better. So let's talk about the major issues, and I'm filming the gold one here, and what you can see is when I'm filming, you watch. First of all, the orientation. This is a problem with all iPhones, and it continues with these ones. As soon as you start filming down, they have no idea what's up, what's down. I film horizontal all the time, and I end up with vertical video. It just doesn't know what's happening when I film down. It's really annoying because I would love to use these for unboxing and for my YouTube channel, etc. But when it keeps on doing that, I have to flip around the video all the time. It's just, no, it's annoying. Just fix that, Apple. Come on. It's been the same with iPhones like forever. And the worst thing is the white balance shift. I really hate that. I wish there was some setting where I could just say hold white balance or something like that. Now I understand that the white balance is going to drift when it gets to different environments, but I'm filming now in a controlled environment. This light is 5500 Kelvin. There's nothing changing here except what I'm focusing on, or maybe it's picking up, the color of the fake timber on the bottom, or picking up the color of the frame of the iPhone. The white balance shifts all the time. Now you never see this really that much if you're just filming outside, but here in a controlled environment, I hate that the white balance drifts, and then you have to use Filmic Pro. I'd rather just use the Apple app so I can get that HDR, but the HDR video off this looks amazing. At 4K, the stabilization is hit or miss. Sometimes it's good, sometimes it's not so good. Can't wait to see the Pro Max, and it has a different stabilization. It has sensor stabilization instead of optical. What it is, the actual sensor moves instead of the optics. So maybe that's better with stabilization. Also a better camera too. That one is twice the sensor size. So the Pro Max is going to have the beastie camera. I will say compared to last year, I wouldn't even bother with these phones if you've got an iPhone Pro or Pro Max 11. Unless you really want 5G, you just need a new design, you want a new phone because you want a new one, or you want to film in HDR. If those things don't speak to you, I wouldn't bother. If you're anything 10S or older, yeah, go for it. But have a look at this here. You're going to see some PWM flickering. Now, this is nothing new for OLED, but first of all, I can clearly see outdoors the difference between these two displays in brightness. The 200 nits extra brightness you get on the Pro, I can definitely see. I hope you can see that on the camera. This is pretty much the same environment, same light. The Pro's display is much easier to see outdoors. I can see that on the playback too. But there you can see on both of them, they both had that PWM flickering. Now, usually PWM flickering is when you have the brightness low. That's when you might notice it. Now, you can't see this with the human eye, but it is strange that both these display at max brightness are showing PWM flickering. Now, this could be just because it's filmed in HDR, and one thing's for sure, it's definitely to do with shutter speed, because that's when you'll catch the flickering. But I have never seen that before, so especially when they're at full brightness. I guess I'm showing you. I'd like to know your thoughts on it. What do you think? Is it just the shutter speed? Is it because it's filmed in HDR? Or maybe there is an issue? If you're sensitive to that PWM flickering, and you'll know if you are, yeah, I'd stay away from these displays. But it's something I've never noticed before on any of the iPhones, like the 11 Pro. Nah, that's OLED, and I never noticed that, and I've filmed it many occasions. So maybe it's the HDR as well. Who knows? But anyway, just thought I'd chime in there. They're my thoughts of the iPhone. So far, I'm going to do the screen test between the two, and I'm going to go into a deep dive into HDR and how you edit with HDR, etc. So catch you in the next one, guys. Tally ho.